file 24059.
Okay, good morning, everyone. We were scheduled to start at 9, but that was to allow the parents in this new case to talk with their attorneys, and they've been able to accomplish that. So I'll look forward to their remarks and decisions on how they want to proceed today, in addition to our basics as we go through the preliminary hearing. And then we did have a bench conference also, and I'll let the attorney speak to that as well after appearances.
Lee Heiss, lawyer guardian ad litem.
Ms. Sasha Thomas, counsel for the department.
Amanda Jones from the department.
Charles Noe on behalf of responding mother.
Faith Double.
Michael McFarland, representing Mr. Patterson. Please introduce yourself. Jeffrey Patterson.
Ms. Spencer.
Alexis Spencer, appearing on behalf of respondent father Austin Doobie.
Thank you. For the record, we've looked for Mr. Doobie here in the courthouse. We've watched for him on Zoom. We've not seen him yet this morning, but we appreciate you staying on, Ms. Spencer, at this preliminary stage of things. All right. Well, let's go through any comments about the cyber.
Thank you, Andrew. There were, as far as it relates to proper service to parents, we were wondering if Mr. Doobie was able to be served. He has not, and we don't have a proof of service filed yet, but for the record, he has not been served. Today, we would ask the court to consider a motion for alternate service, I apologize. We will submit that to the court, and we can take testimony from Ms. Jones if the court has time for that. Otherwise, I think that we were discussing procedurally what the respondent parents would like to do in this case, and if an adjournment would be proper, which I believe we're all in agreement with.
I would agree. I think the adjournment is proper. In addition to that, we did some dates for jury trial, which were agreeable to all the parties. In addition to that, my client, 2 issues my client is obviously requesting a jury demand. I'll be following that as well. In addition to that, my client has indicated to me that she is agreeable to voluntary service at this point. So she has no problem or objection to that. She certainly wants to do what is necessary and as the court sees fit. So she ultimately is agreeable to that. That being said, in terms of prelim, we are still set for the prelim 2 weeks from today at 1:30, and that day is agreeable to myself and my client.
Could you confirm whether or not your client has a copy of the petition?
She does.
Very good. And do you know, have you asked her if there are any other cases that would concern the children that are concerned, her children that are concerned by this case? Child support, custody, visitation, guardianship?
No, she does have, she does, which is correct, attached to the petition, she does have sole parenting time with 2 of the minor children, with Mr. Doobie.
Custody, all.
She has custody, but you have exclusive parenting time, correct, for court order?
I don't understand what you mean by that.
You got a referee order from several months ago, from back in October, that suspended Austin's parenting.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
And Judge, I'm so sorry to interrupt, Mr. Noe, but I think that there is a little bit of confusion as to what was submitted versus maybe what the other attorneys received. Is there an MC-21 on the back of your petition, Mr. Noe? It should be the last page.
I didn't notice that, but it's possible. Couldn't see it.
I do not have one.
I also don't have it. All I have is the petition itself and the attached reference recommendation order.
Same here.
Yeah, so I received an email from the clerks with a full petition that we submitted. So my team, me, my secretary, Ms. Kelly Allen, and Ms. Jones received an email. And it has the full stamp petition of what was filed. Then there's a second email, and it seems that that second email had went to the rest of the attorneys in the public defender's office, and that is actually missing like 10 pages from the back. So I think that that's also an issue that we have to sort out. I did forward the stamped petition I have to the attorneys, but it does have more of that custody information attached to it.
All right, so you have the referee recommendation in order on parenting time, which is 2 pages. Is that right, Mr. Noe? That's what I have.
That's all I have.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, so in addition, what I have in front of me is a stipulated order on custody, parent attendant support, Faith Double versus Austin Doobie, and a judgment of support in Faith Double versus Jeffrey Patterson. And I could offer to you, obviously, Ms. Spencer will need an email copy, but I could ask my deputy to give you full copies of the other two documents I have today, if you like, as well as that confidential case inventory.
That would be great.
My client will need to serve that also, Your Honor. I've taken a look at his, and his reflects exactly what I have.
All right, so how many copies do we need?
I think we'll need one.
5? All right, Deputy Ames? 5 copies of these documents, please.
Very good, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Spencer, you'll have to rely on Ms. Thomas to get you your copies. All right.
Your Honor,
Oh, one moment.
Okay.
Have you checked with your client on the Native American heritage, Mr. Knapp?
I hadn't until just now, but she indicates me in the negative. She's not aware of any Native American heritage in her family line.
All right. Does she know at all where Mr. Doobie is at today?
I haven't talked to him for.
She hasn't talked to him in quite some time.
That's all right. That's it for now. All right, Mr. McFarland, same questions, comments on the sidebar?
yes, Your Honor, my client has a relative who is living on a Native American reservation. His mother can provide the name and address of that individual in the tribe. So it's a little bit more information what's in the petition. My client is also agreeable to voluntary services. I do have right now a jury demand to submit to the court, if I might do so through your bail.
Good. Deputy Ames, do you mind?
I hate to interrupt, Mr. McFarland, but I have that and also my limited appearance in this matter, so I can also present Deputy Ames.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know we have a jury trial date reserved. There is a distinct possibility that there will be a plea down the road at the next adjournment free. I do think we need to wait for the at least return of the Native American heritage documentation.
Ms. Spencer, my thoughts would be to just simply include that jury trial date for your client as well at this point. I know you haven't had a chance to talk to him about whether or not he wants a jury trial, but for the purposes of judicial economy and the time of our jury, I would be inclined to simply set yours as well for jury trial. And then obviously, if you're able to talk to Mr. Doobie, you want something different, we can talk about it in the future, but do you have any objection to that?
I have no objection to that. Thank you.
Did you have any comments about the sidebar that you wanted to share?
I do not. I obviously haven't talked to my client and he's not here, so I don't have much to add.
Comments about our sidebar, Ms. Heiss?
No, nothing further to add, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland, did your client, I know I have the support order that concerns your client. Are there any other cases that he's aware of?
Yes, Your Honor, there is. Jeffrey Patterson, the child Jeffrey Jacob Patterson, there was a support case. He advises me, I imagine if there's support, then custody was also established.
Yes, I think that's part of what you're getting a copy of
Okay.
in just a few minutes. All right, each of you have the right to have the attorney represent you. If Mr. Noe is not able to represent you moving forward, for whatever reason, we would ask the Public Defender's Office to appoint you someone, ma'am. Each of you have a right to an attorney at each hearing, and that will be provided for you if you are not able to afford your own. Thank you for confirming that you've received copies of the petition. We'll look for the department to provide proof of service on Mr. Doobie or to do a written motion for alternative service documenting the efforts that have been made in order to locate him and serve him. And I'll be happy to look at that moving forward. We'll ask the department to ensure that they find the name of the tribe or as much information about the membership, tribal membership as possible and complete that inquiry. And I do find that that's a good reason to continue our prelim to the second date that's been cleared with all of the attorneys, as well as to allow the parties to continue to talk to their clients to decide what they want to do moving forward. But of course, we have that jury trial reserved and that's on the docket. So we'll be able to address any further issues or preliminary things at our continuation date for that particular prelim. I will ask the department to provide a proposed case services plan to each of the parents, including to Ms. Spencer until we find Mr. Doobie, so that they can look at those proposed case services. If you want to engage on any services now, that would give you an idea of what to look at. So we'll look for that to happen between now and when we come back on the 29th at 1:30. Of course, not being asked to remove the children from the home at this time. There's only a request for in-home jurisdiction. And that is part of the petition itself, which all of you have a right to have read onto record. I know there was a request by Mr. McFarland to give him some more time to allow his client to go through that, but I'm also happy to read that in our continuation. I know Mr. Noe has a hearing that he's got to get to at 10:30. So you can take that under consideration between now and when we come back if you like.
Your Honor, we will waive reading that today. This will give my client an opportunity to more fully digest that, and we do need it read. We have an adjourned date.
Yes. All right, you both have a right to a trial by judge or jury. As you know, you've been able to talk with your attorney about that, which is great, and you've requested that jury trial. At that trial, your the representative for the department would have to prove that the statute's been violated by proving one or more of the allegations in the petition by probable cause standard. You have the right, of course, to the assistance of your attorney for purposes of cross-examination of witnesses. You have the right to ask the court to subpoena any witnesses that you think could help give testimony in your favor. And of course, the right to testify yourself at that particular trial. The department will be obligated to continue investigating as well as to offer those voluntary services between now and when we come back and through the duration of our case. I would encourage you to take advantage of that if you're so inclined between now and when we come back for the remainder of our prelim on the 29th at 1:30 p.m. Are there any other preliminary issues to be addressed today, counselors?
Knowledge that we just received, as my client has the additional attachments.
We would acknowledge the same.
All right, well, thank you all for your time this morning, and we'll see you on the 29th at 1:30 p.m.
What are the jury trial dates, Your Honor?
Thank you. The jury trial dates have been scheduled for July 23rd all day and July 24th as needed. So
I
please
thought it
have
was the
some-
22nd and 23rd.
22nd, 23rd. Thank you. Yes. You're right. There it is.
Prelim is what day and time?
9 a.m. So April 29th at 1:30 is when our prelim is continued to. And then jury trial is scheduled for July 22nd and 23rd, commencing at 9 a.m. each day.
So off record, would you like my client's email?
Else? Anything else before we close the record? Thank you. Okay, thank you.